when you're a millionaire or super successful, it is 100% your fault. But also, if you're not succeeding, it is also 100% your fault.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katya Markotic and I'm the founder and owner of Compass Rose Connections. And today I'm here with James Chao, who's the founder and owner of ABC Networking. For those just tuning in, James, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. And first of all, I don't just do ABC networking. So my day job, I am a financial advisor for the last 7 years. 5 years ago, we created an organization called Atlanta Business Connection, known as ABC Networking, where we meet once a month, second Tuesday, where business owners and entrepreneurs alike can really get together and connect and build good relationships.
Okay. And then I also know that you studied engineering. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so growing up, I was always good at math. I didn't know what I wanted to do. At first, I thought about math or accounting major. My teacher said that was not a good idea. So I ended up just picking electrical engineering just because I heard that electrical engineering was the hardest major. So I took on the challenge and decided to go engineering, not knowing what I was signing up to do. But I never actually went that route after college.
Okay, so you decided to go through the sales route, right?
Yeah.
I believe that you said that you worked at Cutco. So how was working at Cutco and working with the sales on that?
That was a really big pivotal moment in my life. I was 18. I just graduated high school at the time. I had a friend of mine who introduced me to Cutco. That really got me started in the sales world. And I think for everything in life is sales, by the way, right? I did not know if I was going to do well. My parents were immigrants and I was born and raised in California. I just moved to Atlanta. And in the 90s, there wasn't a lot of Asian communities here in Atlanta. So how was I supposed to get into sales without understanding all that? But I went through the program, I got my feet wet, and I found that this was something I enjoy, I liked, and I did well at it. Actually sold Cutco for 6 years in college. It paid my way through school and I won a couple scholarships to help pay for school and really gave me the experience.
Okay, great. That's definitely really important. But what would you say that young professionals that are watching this could learn from your growth of pivoting from each different career path that you've chosen?
I think I heard somewhere that 70% of people who graduated are doing something different than their major. It doesn't always go exactly the way you plan to be, right? So you got to be able to adapt and change. I think about AI today. I think there's going to be a lot of industry disturbance, and it's really how to leverage and how to adapt to your new surroundings and situation. Transitioning from high school to college, I had to sell Cutco to make ends meet, to pay for tuition and to stay in school. I actually paid for 6 years of tuition myself out of pocket without having to get a student loan. And if I didn't do that, I wasn't able to finish college. And then when I was leaving college, before I graduated, I never took the engineering route. I actually decided to stay with the company and take on a management leadership role. So I opened up my first branch office as a Cutco district manager out of college. So that was a big transition. 12 years of being in the Cutco, in the recruiting and training and sales development world really helped me grow personally. And from there, I was able to pivot and really, I felt like once you have a lot of good skills, instead of me going out to interview for different companies, trying to get a job, it was me interviewing the company of which job do I want to take. It gave me the options.
Okay, so that's definitely really important, I think. What would you say to somebody that felt kind of uncertain or stuck with what to do, just to give them clarity in the direction for them to go in?
Talked about clarity. It's important, especially as a guy, to have a good vision of where you want to be or who you want to become one day. There's a quote that I really like is, if the why is strong enough, the how will find its way. So if you want it bad enough, you'll get there. I talk to young people all the time. They're like, I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm like, why? Well, my parents said so. Or like, that's what my parents did. Or my friend said that. Or that sounds cool. Well, when it gets challenging, they can get discouraged, right? So, but if you really want it, if you understand the why of why you want to do what you want to do, it makes things a little bit easier. And when it gets challenging, you'll find a way to get through that. And you'll just be a lot stronger and tougher when you can face adversity and embrace that as well.
Going into how you said that you work with financial services, can you explain a little bit about your shift into that?
So my transition, after 17 years at Cutco, 6 years in sales and 12 years in management and leadership role, I decided to kind of pivot and move to a different route. But there was a big transition. It wasn't an easy move, being in a relationship with my career for 17 years. So fortunately, I, made some good moves to save enough money to take some time off to really find myself. So I traveled, went to a few different countries. I took like 6 months off. I took a couple mission trips as well. And then came back. I started to kind of look around and interview around to see what I wanted to do. Do a lot of research, I would say. That would be one thing. Another thing I did was I got my real estate license. I got my insurance license. I got my securities license. I just wanted to learn because I know that in order for me to become who I want to be, there's so much to learn. And so I went out and got all my licenses and really decided. And at that moment, as I was growing and learning and taking courses, I ran into a good old friend of mine, and his father is a legend as a financial advisor for almost 30 years. So I kind of got dabbled and introduced to that field. And so then I interviewed with like half a dozen different financial service companies. One was offering the signing bonus. This one offered this big old base salary. That really wasn't like if you really want a good career, like don't be enticed by those low hanging fruits, so to speak. And, uh, and then now I'm a 7-year financial advisor. So
All right. And then in terms of leadership, how would you say that you've leveraged your leadership experience to kind of get you to the point that you are today?
great question. Because I think when you hear leadership, depending on who you're talking to and their age range, it means different things. But in today's world, I think leadership is really levels of relationship. Leveraging the leadership, I think about leveraging the relationships that I've built in the past to help catapult my career today. Surround yourself with people that care about you, people that support you, that want to see you succeed, giving them a chance to practice with me as a new financial advisor 7 years ago, but also getting referred to good people just like them.
How would you define success for you today, and how has that evolved?
I love that question. So I will tell you that when I was in my 20s, just like most young adults, especially in today's world with so much social media, that success is like this number of likes you get, the number of followers. Some people define success with more money, fame, and power. I think that's the go-to answer. But in my mind, success, I thought about, time is money. So some people say success is more time. You talk to somebody who's unemployed, they have all the time in the world, doesn't mean they're successful. I'd like to kind of give you a little bit of one of my coaching methods that I use, and metrics. I call it the 6F. This is how I measure my success. And it's really having a good balance. And it's faith, family, friends, fitness, finance, fun. And when you can have a good balance of all, because you can't live without one of those. So in my mind, having a good, successful life, I don't want to be the person who have a thriving business, but no family, or a billionaire, but horrible health, right? So I need to have a good balance, and that's how I define success.
I love that. I think the balance is extremely important. And what skills should someone have if they want to thrive in, being around so many people? I know you created ABC Networking and you connect so many like-minded people. What skills do you think that they should have in order to thrive?
In today's business world and society, to really thrive, I got this quote, and it's relationships compound. And everything you do in life is all about relationships, right? Whether your business becomes successful, whether you have a successful relationship or marriage or family or career, it's all about relationships. And that would be my number one advice. And to work on that, it's be genuine, be interested. I had a couple people just yesterday from our ABC event was asking that, I haven't been here in a minute. Like, if I've seen the ABC growth, what did you do? And I really didn't have a really direct answer of like, this is the formula. But other than being authentic, genuine, staying core to your true values. So I think defining your personal values will help you grow.
All right. So, James, when launching your new career, what role did marketing play in order to build that momentum for you?
When you say marketing, it's about marketing yourself instead of just looking in the mirror as how do other people perceive you as. And I wanted to be genuine. I wanted people to know that I care. I think about being a good listener. I always have this saying is be interested and not interesting. Just be curious, ask good questions, and be direct with people. If you're going to follow up, then follow up. If you're not going to follow up, then don't say you're going to follow up. Well, let's grab lunch, but you're not going to do it. Don't do that. Right? So be direct, be genuine, and ask good questions.
All right. I love that. I definitely think that's very important. I know that you mentioned that when you first started ABC Networking, you did it during COVID. So how did you, just starting out, build that trust and visibility without that big brand?
Yeah, this started from scratch less than 5 years ago. And the backstory of ABC is it was in the middle of COVID. Everything was shut down. One of my good friends and I, we just had lunch at a small local restaurant, family owned, mom and pop type of restaurant. And our goal was to really support local business owners. That was a theme back then because they're the one that were struggling to stay open and generate business. And we thought about just coming up with some event. I was invited to this virtual B&I group. I felt it was just really dry, but I really liked the idea of networking that way. So we decided to have like a live open B&I group. It's how it kind of got started. ABC was about small businesses getting together. And the way we kind of grew is just really word of mouth and just, we don't really spend any money on marketing or promotion. We didn't have a brand. If you saw our first flyer, you would laugh. It looked like a third grader flyer on a Word document, but it was just word of mouth and being consistent.
That's definitely great. Do you believe that you made any early branding mistakes that you would recommend for others to avoid?
Early branding mistakes would be don't focus on yourself. When it's about you, your pride or your ego or your brand, I think that's when it takes away from everybody else and people can feel that. And if you focus on the people there, greeting people, like I've been to many events where it's very cliquey and they're snobby, right? And versus you go to an event and everybody seems genuine, everybody seems interested, everybody's very open to have conversations. And any organization starts with a leader on the top. And that's how people just say, oh, yeah, there's so many great people that come. Well, there's a lot of great people in Atlanta. There's a lot of great businesses. And if we can attract the right people and they'll continue to be around other great people.
And then I know you mentioned before how being authentic is very important. What have you learned about being consistent and being authentic in your early marketing?
Being consistent, being authentic, as I said, relationships compound. I think just smile, just be yourself, know who you are and be yourself. I'll tell you one story. I do run into a lot of real estate agents and a lot of this younger, new generational realtors that they show up in a t-shirt and a flip-flop because this is who I am. This is what Mark Zuckerberg wears. Like, I get that, but they have a brand already. So I think to really brand yourself in marketing is be the best version of yourself, right? Don't be this most simple version because what are you really portraying to your clients? You're marketing yourself. I want people to know that I'm trustworthy, I'm reliable, I'm here to build relationship. And I tell my clients that, hey, we may or may not do business, but we might become friends for the next 30 years though. And I think that's a great approach versus, yeah, I'm the one who so nonchalant that I'll just wake up and drink Starbucks in my hands first thing in the morning and I'll show up with no preparation. I forgot to brush my teeth vibe. In the industry, whether you're in sales or marketing or business, I hear today that people are saying, the economy's tough or the market is challenging. And I see a lot of new folks trying new careers and switching careers all the time. So my advice would be the career or the sales is as consistent as your effort is. Has nothing to do with the situation or the cards that you're dealt. It's really as consistent as your efforts are. Remember, you hear this all the time, this fault. People blame each other. It's when you're a millionaire or super successful, it is 100% your fault. But also if you're not succeeding, it is also 100% your fault. One of the reasons why sales and marketing and business is hard because it's a direct reflection and you can't hide that, right? There are certain things you can and cannot hide. I think in business and working out at the gym or cheating your diet, those are things that you cannot hide, right? It will show if you are consistent or not, and your efforts if you have that consistent effort, you'll get the success in the marketing and the success that you want.
People might think that the industry is pretty saturated. What's one thing that you would recommend to others in order to stand out?
A couple things would be creative in different ways of marketing and branding. Get out of your comfort zone would be the second advice. And my third advice is to remind people that people buy differences. Of course, we all have different strengths and weaknesses, but there are something different about you and tap into that and then lean into that side of you.
So looking back, what's one decision that you believe changed the trajectory of your career to this day?
I didn't mature until like mid-30s, I would say. Now I'll be 45 this year, but it took me a little bit longer for me to learn and I had to learn from my own mistakes. Even though I've been guided in the right direction of don't do this, don't make the same mistakes that I've made. But no, I was stubborn and I wanted to make the same mistakes they made. So it took you a little bit longer term, really just to mature up. The old cliche, man up. And I think that's what it was. It's taking responsibilities for your own results and don't blame the background or, my parents didn't speak English or I just moved here, right? Or, whatever your disadvantage was, or I don't have a car, we all have the internet. So, don't blame your situation. Just take ownership.
So, James, I see that you're constantly always doing something. What kind of helps you stay focused during your ups and downs of entrepreneurship?
I think as an entrepreneur, you're always going to have a lot of ups and downs. That's what you're signing up for. You're not the consistent paycheck. It is the roller coaster, and you've probably seen those memes. To really stay prepared and focused is expect the unexpected. That'll be my first advice because and use every one of those situations as an opportunity to learn and grow. And the way I look at it is I like opportunities. I like a new challenge. I like checking off my task and accomplishing things and putting out certain fires. One, be a great firefighter, meaning like when a problem arises, learn how to fix it. Be a problem solver, but not just be a good firefighter, but be a fire preventer, right? How do I prevent the same issues from happening again? And of course, there's new things that's going to happen all the time, but be prepared for that because every time you solve a problem, you have a great story to come back and share with other people on how to fix those problems. You could be a mentor, an example for other people. And when you hire and train and develop and grow your business and you want that level of caliber of people, you just have examples to share of, hey, here's how you solve the problems. Here's what I did when I first started.
What would you say that listeners that are watching this right now should take away on, trusting process?
I hear this all the time, trust the process. It's like a big word out nowadays, trust the process. I think if you continue to do the right things with the right attitude, with confidence, everything will play out. And you might be going through a tough season, but that's part of the process, but you got to trust it. Faith is not knowing what the end result is, what the other side looks like, but still believing in the product or your service or product or yourself. So that confidence matters, right? And then the belief matters. Of course, without saying like you should have a great product and service first, right? But also, once again, going back to consistency, if you're doing the right thing, you cannot do a wrong thing the right way. So just do the right thing with the right attitude and confidence.
James, if you could go back 15 years, what would you tell your younger self to be more successful today or then?
To go back 15 years, I would have bought a ton of Amazon and Tesla stock. But if I was to give myself a good advice going back 15 years, just mature up, right? A couple of things. I would say, don't waste money, don't waste time. I think about people that are 25, 30 years old, how much time they waste scrolling social media. Just use that opportunity to learn and grow. Don't waste time, don't waste energy. Chase your business. If you're really passionate about building something, a career, a business, chase the business. When I was in my 20s, I was really chasing tail and chasing ladies. And I really wish that I really focus on the business more at an earlier stage.
I love that. Love that. And what would you recommend that's one action that a viewer could, take this week to start moving forward?
Take the first step, right? Action creates reaction, motion, 2/3 of the word promotion. So take the first step, whether it's write the book or go to the gym, make the phone calls, build the relationship, whatever you were afraid of, the classes you want to take that first step, go sign up. That's half the battle. It's just getting to the gym, right? That's what they say. And I thought, if I just put on my gym clothes, I'm probably going to go to the gym. If I go to the gym, I'm probably going to work out. It's the same thing with work. Just show up.
So James, back to ABC networking, what has ABC networking become and how can people know more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So ABC, we are, like I said, Atlanta Business Connections. It is the second Tuesday of every month, and we're located at Perimeter Mall at the Iron Hill Brewery. So every month, 10 times a year, we'll get together. You'll expect to see 50, 60, 70 people, like-minded businesses and entrepreneurs there to get together. We do have, our social media that you can click on the link. Also, our website is ABC-networking. Check out all of our sponsors, all of our previous event photos, And we have our 5th-year anniversary coming up as well.
Great. And, I've attended a bunch of your events, including your gala, and I know that you have one coming up, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, really excited. This is our 5th anniversary, and last year was obviously the 4th, and it was one of the best events that we've ever ran. Really proud of the people and the sponsors and all the attendees to make everything happen. So September 13th is a Saturday night, is going to be our 5th anniversary, which is pretty big deal. And it's going to be an all-out event. Check out our website. It's going to be also on Eventbrite. We are looking for sponsors. Still have a few sponsor spots available to make this happen. It's going to be at Ride Lounge. So to tell you a little bit more about this gala, we're going to have a title sponsor, but one of our sponsors are our venue. It's called Ride Lounge, which is the new business locally here in Peachtree Corners. And it's a membership where you can, for your cars. So if you have a really nice car that needs an extra garage space, I've seen some nice exotic cars and some very cool supercars parked in that lounge. And there's a really nice lounge area, and the other side is the lounge for your exotic cars. We always try to support some nonprofit. This year's nonprofit is going to be Festivals of Trees. And they're locally here in Gwinnett. We're really excited to team up with. They'll be able to tell you more about it. Their mission is all volunteer people, and they raise money to fight human trafficking. And I think that's very important. What they do is meaningful. So our goal is to raise $20,000. All the money goes directly to them, the raffles and the silent auction. Just so you know, I did confirm that Miss Georgia is going to be there as well.
I'm definitely looking forward to that and dressing up. You said it's
with last year.
Yeah. It was incredible. I mean, the food was amazing and the bartenders were great. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'll definitely be there. Well, thank you so much, James. And I really appreciated having you on the channel. And I'll put his socials down below. And thank you for watching.
Thank you.